In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about negativity in Magic the Gathering and the way the game is discussed in public discourse, and just generally how I've been thinking about it a lot the past couple of days, and just some of my thoughts on the topic in general. I recently made a video where I expressed some negative thoughts. I don't really make opinion-based videos very frequently, but I made one recently about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set and some concerns I had about it. That was largely a negative video, and after making it, I felt this little tug in my mind that was like, oh, you expressed an opinion and people agreed with it. You could share some of your other opinions. But of course, my mind was naturally then pulling out like negative opinions that I had because I had expressed a relatively negative opinion, gotten some agreement on it. And then my mind was like, okay, well, then you can talk about these other things and get some agreement on those as well. And that kind of feel-good burst from having people agree with you or say, oh, you said that very well, or, oh, I really appreciate you sharing this, or whatever that thing is being used in a way that, like, my mind is being used in a way that is then spirals myself down. By sharing one negative view, you kind of are then inclined to share another negative view. And to some degree, this happens in online discourse in many ways, compared to in person, where maybe you talk about something negative, then you're talking with the same group of people. Someone talks about whatever they like about something, you agree with them. But when you're in an environment where you can say something and you only give like these bursts of opinions, and then you see people agree with you, you then just kind of can naturally be attracted or drawn towards expressing more of those opinions. And it wasn't like scary to me, but it was illuminating in some ways to me on how you can see people who really enjoy the game who are consistently expressing negative opinions or things of that nature. And I felt like this responsibility, almost like, wow, why don't I feel the need to express an opinion when there's like a positive thing in the community? And I think that to some degree, when there's something negative, you have this, oh, if I can provide a well-reasoned, thoughtful opinion on this topic that's negative, maybe people will be able to identify where their own negativity comes from, and they'll identify, oh, I'm only upset about this one particular thing and not about the game as a whole, versus just being upset. And that's always been something like, oh, if I can just like be like super articulate and well-reasoned and like write like my thoughts down and make sure I hit all of the points I want to hit, that can be like impactful in a good way. But I think also if you express a negative opinion, there's this phrase that I grew up with, which is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. And that's because when you don't say something nice, you can't really get a nice feeling out of it. Like, you sometimes have to say things that aren't like what someone wants to hear. That's not necessarily a context that applies to this sort of video where I'm making a video expressing an opinion on the game. But in because I'm not actually like talking to somebody that's like making the real decisions in the building or something of that nature. But there is still some truth to the fact that if you do say something negative, you're not going to really get a positive out of it. It's not going to like lead to somebody feeling good. It might motivate them to make changes, but when I'm talking to the community as a whole, the community isn't the one that's really going to be making those changes. I'm not trying to convince people to take a certain action. And so when you're saying things that aren't nice, you're not going to really get a nice vibe out of it. Versus if you are saying something nice, you can sometimes make somebody feel better about something. I guess maybe being negative is less negative can make somebody feel less negative, I guess. Like, if they were like way down here and then you can say something that's only slightly negative, then maybe they move their negativity up a little bit. But just generally as a point, I try to be the person where, oh, Nicolai likes Magic the Gathering, I like Magic the Gathering, we can like Magic the Gathering together. And if you are consistently in a positive space, you don't ever really, I didn't want anyone to really feel dragged down by like watching one of my videos where I'm really excited for this set, let's hear what Nicolai has to say about it. Oh, I really don't want to, like, I'm not really excited about this set anymore. And I wouldn't say I have that much influence, but I'm at the same time not oblivious to the fact that I might have some influence with some people who are considering playing a new set or considering playing the game, or learning to play the game and are new to things and don't have all of the context necessarily that I might have from having played a long time. And I consistently don't want to be the person that makes someone feel negative feelings about the game. And I feel like sometimes I express negative opinions on something. I am that person, and that's like a responsibility that I'm still working on to some degree, because I don't make those videos that often. And to some degree, there is then this thought that maybe I should make some of the videos where I am positive about things, or I do feel like they did something really, really well. And that's something that I'll consider as well going forward, because I think that it's easy to fall into this spiral of, oh, this is a problem, time to talk about it, versus, oh, they did this thing brilliantly. This was fantastically done. And there's a bunch of things that consistently get done very well that I'm very happy about. And my mind, like, it just doesn't even think to make a video about it because it's already a really good job. But positive reinforcement or whatever it is still a really good thing as well. And also just like highlighting, hey, they did a really good job with this, so that people don't just constantly see, oh, this thing was a failure, or this thing was bad, or I used to really like not despise. I don't really have like like that kind of negative thoughts on it. But when I see these videos that pop up on my feed, that because I watch Magic the Gathering stuff sometimes, that say like, oh, this thing is doomed, or this thing is going to be a disaster, I have historically been a little bit upset about it, because I'm like, how could somebody that like is in theory likes Magic the Gathering just consistently make videos that are about how bad something is? And I can kind of understand it a little bit more now just by watching how my own mind progressed through the system of, oh, you made this video, it was like slightly negative, people liked it, oh, maybe I can make another video about this. And I could see how it could spiral down to where you ended up in a spot where a lot of your audience wants that sort of thing. They like having someone that agrees with them, or people that just like naturally say, like, there's this saying like, oh, like negative content gets more clicks. And to some degree that might just be because disagreement is like provides more for your mind to work with. Like if somebody agrees with everything you say, they might be more boring to talk to than somebody that disagrees with everything you say. Even if like it's annoying to talk to someone who disagrees with you, it just might give your mind more of a challenge. And I'm not saying that that's true in every context, but I think that sometimes that could be why it feels like weird to make a video where it's like, yeah, everyone agrees this thing was awesome, but taking that time to spread that extra like positive reinforcement, say good job, because I'm sure that a lot of the people that work on the game don't really watch these random opinion things, but like if somebody does spend a lot of time working on the game doing these things, I can imagine it would get pretty demoralizing seeing a lot of these like negative takedown videos, almost like, oh, they did such a terrible job with this, they did such a bad job with this. Not that I would usually phrase it like that way. I try to be more constructive, even if I am being negative, which I'm thinking I don't really want to be negative that often after kind of seeing how it affects my mindset. But I feel like there's not as much of a pat on the back situation, which they don't necessarily need a pat on the back, but it's still nice to get one. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share those thoughts. I'd been thinking about it a lot recently the past few days, and I thought that it was something that I thought I could maybe help shape the discourse in a positive way instead of maybe going a little bit more of the negative direction. That's going to do it for this one, though. If you did enjoy hearing my thoughts, let me know. not that I made this one for the thoughts in the comments, but I do like discussing things and hearing what you think on these topics as well. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.